You're listening to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
The night is upon us. It is the 2024 NBA Draft. The stars of tomorrow are going to see which teams they are going to tonight. Guys like Alex Sarr, Nikola Topic, I know he has the ACL injury, but he's going to end up getting drafted tonight. Donovan Clingan and Stephon Castle, UConn teammates. The list goes on and on. Special night here for Sweep the League. I told y'all we're going to be with you from the start to the very end. This is the Sweep the League pre-draft show. I will be joined by Coach Gio as well as Ben Bornstein. Ben's going to be with us for the actual draft. Coach Gio will try to jump on for the pre-draft show as well as Derek Irvin as well. But we're going to come to you guys all night. So if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments you want to make, we're going to just go over everything you guys got, plus any breaking news that we tend to get as well. Just to give you a heads up for the NBA draft tonight. We're going to be making comments and notes when the draft pick is actually made. So when you see Adam Silver make the pick, announce the pick, that's when we're going to start talking about it. We know the internet is, light years ahead of what happens on TV. So people are going to know ahead of time exactly who's going where. We do understand we're not avoiding your comments in the comment section. So if you're announcing, hey, Alex Sarr went first and they haven't announced it yet, we do appreciate you letting us know. We do know ahead of time as well because we have multiple screens going. So we also know, just like you guys know when the pick is in, but we will not actually get into coverage of that draft pick until the commissioner is announced or until it's announced on the actual draft on TV. So that's just a heads up. That's how it's going to work tonight. Like I said, no disrespect to anybody. People think that we're missing your comments. We're not missing your comments. We're seeing them. But again, that's how we normally work the drafts, whether it be NFL or the NBA. So appreciate everybody joining in. This is sponsored by La Cocina Taco Truck and MCS General Contracting with our two great, amazing sponsors. This draft night can happen. We're providing a lot of stuff for you guys. We're going to have some gift card giveaways for prizes for just being in the chat tonight and just having fun with us. You have to be a subscriber on the YouTube page, though. So for any of the prizes tonight, we'd like to be a subscriber on the YouTube page. If you're not a subscriber, just go to our YouTube page, search at Sweep the League TV, and hit that subscribe button, smash that notification as well. That way you know when we are live. So Jacob Erickson here. Let's get it. We definitely are going to get it tonight. Greetings from the Netherlands. Going to listen. I hope I won't miss it as it's 1 a.m. Garrett Vandercriff, I appreciate you joining us all the way from the Netherlands. Appreciate you joining. It is 1 a.m. over there. Do not miss it. Do not miss it. We'll be with you probably well into the night. So appreciate you joining us here at Sweep the League. So we're going to get into some draft coverage here, guys. It's, again, it's the 2024 NBA draft, and it's, right off the bat, the Atlanta Hawks, we're seeing stuff with Atlanta come across where Trae Young is probably not going to get as much in return per I'd say, of a DeJounte Murray. Will the Hawks keep the number one pick? That is really, really the question here. I think the Hawks are going to make the number one pick. Last I heard, rumor had it that Zachary Risarche is probably going to go number one. That was the latest buzz for many, many months. We actually had Alex Sarr going number one. And on top of that, you've heard of Alex Sarr lately. Then it's been Donovan Clingan as well. So now we're hearing that, sorry guys, I'm trying to get a post here. We're hearing that Zachary Risarche is going to go number one. That was actually as of an hour ago, maybe or so, that Zachary Risarche may go number one, which kind of maybe puts things in a tailspin a little bit. Spurs were actually looking at Risarche at number 4. But right now, from what we're understanding, we're looking at maybe possibly Atlanta taking Reece Chartier at number 1. Washington, I think, is locked in at Alex Sarr at number 2, leaving the Houston Rockets, which is actually a perfect spot for Houston. Rumors earlier were having Houston possibly trading this pick as well as multiple picks and possibly Alperen Sengun to the Phoenix Suns, but that kind of has been dispelled. I don't see Houston trading Sengun for KD and giving up some of these picks. KD's a superstar, yeah, but I feel you're giving up a lot with Sengun, young player. All he's going to do is get better and better, and it could be just for a couple of year rental when it comes to Kevin Durant in Houston. So I wouldn't jeopardize the franchise, the Houston Rockets franchise, by trading Alperen Sengun and multiple draft picks. I'd say Houston should just stay at number 3, continue with the rebuild. You're talking about a team last year that won 41 games. They were, 41-41. I fully believe that if the Houston Rockets go with Donovan Clingan at number 3, center out of UConn, that would be an excellent pairing for him and Alperen Sengun. You've got a lot of young wings. I mean, you got Fred VanVleet running point guard. You got Thompson. I mean, you've got a lot of players there that can help Houston continue to grow and go on the right path. So I think Houston stays at 3. And as of right now, for the top 3, from what I'm looking at, there's a lot of people going towards Reece Chartier. I've seen a lot of reports on that as well on Twitter. Zachary Reece Chartier might end up going number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks, probably meaning that either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, more than likely DeJounte Murray, is going to be moved. So Reece Chartier makes a lot of sense there. They do need a small forward. They will obviously have to get a big man somewhere in this draft, possibly even trade for a big man. So that's what I'm seeing right now. That's kind of what I'm kind of feeling with too. Reece Chartier 1. We're going to look at Alex Sarr more than likely with the Wizards at 2. And then I'm looking at Donovan Clingan going to the not the Atlanta Hawks, the Houston Rockets at 3. So we've got Derek Irvin joining us here in just a second right now. He's getting ready to join us here for some pre-draft coverage. This is the NBA draft coverage brought to you by Sweep the League, sponsored by MCS General Contracting and La Cocina Taco Truck. La Cocina Taco Truck is in New Braunfels, guys. And I know San Antonio, we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's a short drive to get you satisfied. That is La Cocina Taco Truck at MCS General Contracting. Swimming pools. You got to get the porch done in the backyard. You got to extend the patio. You need that driveway put in, or hell, you just need the driveway repaired and done right, because the first company that did it may not have done it right. I guarantee you, Chris Lahop and his crew will take care of you. It's a 100% guarantee that their work is the best in the business. Contact MCS General Contracting today. Both are sponsors of Sweep the League. Rock is on my way home right now trying to, but Texas, that's a whole story for tomorrow, Rock. Tonight it's all about NBA. How do you feel about the Spurs moving up to 2 for Czar? We're going to get into that right now. If the draft order happens, would you like Reed Sheppard to San Antonio? We're going to get into those 2 questions right now, Rock. Drop your comments, questions in the chat. This is the pre-draft show. Let's get Derek Irvin in here. We can get this moving along. Derek, brother, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing fine this evening, Rudy. How about you, sir?
I'm good, man. It's exciting. Draft night, man. You, like we mentioned before, you've been through the process. You were drafted into the NBA. So what I love about tonight is you're going to give us the feelings that a lot of these guys are going to have going in from college or international to the NBA. I mean, the excitement on some of these kids' faces as we're watching them on the pregame shows for ESPN and other networks. I mean, they're excited. You know, Sarr and Reece Chartier, they came in together basically into the draft room, and it's an exciting night overall, Derek. I mean, there's no feeling that getting your name called in the NBA draft, is there?
No, it's a great feeling. You and I kind of talked a little bit about it last night with Jeff Garcia. Hey, it's a life-changing event for a lot of players, even the ones that don't make the NBA, Rudy. It gives them an opportunity to pursue jobs, elsewhere, like overseas. And so this is a great night for all the guys involved. Every single player, it changes their life in a positive way.
Yeah, it really does, man. I wanted to show a comment to you. See, we have Garrett Vandercriff. He says, greetings from the Netherlands, Derek. We're being broadcast in the Netherlands. He's picking us up in the Netherlands out there. He says it's 1 a.m. there. So we're going to do our best to keep Garrett awake tonight. But just a quick shout out, man. I got word earlier that we're being broadcast. Obviously, Derek has mentioned to me that we're going to be being in Detroit. A lot of people in Detroit are tuning in for the NBA draft coverage we're providing. We're being broadcast in New York and New Jersey, the Boston, all the Northeast side. We're all over the place, Derek. And now we hit the Netherlands, man. I mean, that's going pretty good, I would say.
I think that's better than pretty good. And I want to thank Garrett as well for even tuning in, man. It starts with one person and then we build from there. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, we got to get some questions here. So how do we feel about the Spurs moving up to number 2 from SAR? Rocky Garza, Sweep the League, one of the hosts for Sweep the League is asking that question. I don't – let's put it this way. I've kind of said it many times, Derek. What you get at number 1, you're probably going to end up getting at number 8, 9, 10. It's pretty much the same player. There's really no instant superstar in this draft. There's really no need to move up unless you're getting – a veteran from another team in return that's going to help you right away. You mentioned last night and a couple of nights ago about, the Spurs maybe looking to move number 8, maybe bringing in a Tobias Harris of Philadelphia. That might be something that's been floating around. But could you possibly see the Spurs moving up to number 2? Because I don't see it. I think it's pretty much just best player available at every position.
The reason I could see it is because I think they want to make Victor comfortable. And for that reason alone, I could see them making that move. Whether it be a great move or not, that remains to be seen. But they're going to do everything they can to make the big fella happy. And to me, if you look at the draft for the Spurs, it starts with what guy, not the general manager, not Greg Popovich. I think it really starts with Big Victor Wembanyama. So if they were to make that move, I'm sure Victor would have signed off on it.
But if you're trading up to 2, would you really be trading up for Sarr or Klingon? Because I like Sarr's potential, but wouldn't Klingon make Victor's job a little bit easier?
Where is Sarr from?
He's from France. I'll give you that. He's from France.
Well, there's your answer. I said making Victor comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they'll take Saloon number 8. I mean, at the 2 spot. Now, maybe I could see them if he's still on the board at the 8 spot.
Yeah.
I could see them making those 2 moves and then bringing in, still bringing in some free agents as the summer moves on before we get to camp. But I could see them bringing in 2 guys. I mean, if we look at it, look at the ties. You have another guy here by the name of Tony Parker, right? And I'm sure Victor spends a lot of time with Tony. And Tony's familiar with Alex Sarr, and he's familiar with Saloon. So I could see the Spurs making those 2 moves, but I still think there'll be more that'll be made, more moves they'll make as the year moves on. But I could see them bringing in those 2 young guys. I really could.
Man, that would be the ultimate French connection there. I mean, even if you saw Reece Arcier, even if we saw Reece Arcier drop, I mean, that would definitely be, a bonus right there. So it's happy. I like it. I think I'm kind of biased when it comes to Donovan Klingon, only because I think you kind of see what you get. And, we made comment last night about it when we asked Jeff, or you asked Jeff actually, does the NBA feel like it's going back to a big man's game? And it kind of does. I mean, you're seeing Jokic is, MVP, multiple MVP already. Joel Embiid is always in the MVP talk. So it seems like the big man is actually making a comeback in this league.
Rudy Klingon would be my pick 10 out of 10 times. If it was up to me, if I was drafting, that's who I want. It wouldn't even be a question for me. I wouldn't even have to interview anyone else. I would have went because I would have known right from the beginning. That's the guy that I want in San Antonio, and I'm hoping the Spurs bring him. I believe Victor knows Alex Sarr probably pretty well, but this is a business. And if you're trying to win, I think Klingon is a 100% perfect fit for the Spurs, and that would be my draft pick no matter who else was on the board.
Yeah, we've got some, I guess, somewhat breaking news right now. Adrian Wojnarowski, the Washington Wizards, are trading Deni Avdija to the Portland Trailblazers for Malcolm Brogdon and the 14th pick tonight and 2029 pick. So Washington's making a move, trading Deni, who again is one of the young guys coming on up in the league, in Deni Avdija, and he's going to Portland. So now Washington is holding the second pick and the 14th pick. So that kind of tells me that they're pretty much all in on Sarr. Before you came on, there was a lot of chatter that Zachary Risarchier is probably going to end up going number 1 to Atlanta. That's kind of what the consensus is having right now, meaning Sarr would probably go to 2 to Washington. And I made mention that Clingan should probably go to Houston, because if you pair him with Sengun, that is a match made in heaven for the Houston Rockets. And again, you're talking about a Rockets team, Derek, that won 41 games last year. They don't really have to do much to that roster.
It seems like what it sounds like is that Houston's interested in going after Kevin Durant. So I don't know how much they're focusing on bringing in another young guy. It seems like they're all in. They've had conversations, I'm sure, with KD, and that's where it seems like their main focus is. But these moves they're making some good moves. They have some draft capital, and you know what's scary? The Spurs have to try to get better now, Rudy, because if they don't, they're going to get left behind. Look at all these moves these teams are making with Mikal Bridges, etc. We have to do something, and we have to do something quickly. So take these young guys, Clingan, hopefully, and you already know I like Saloon, and that's because you're the one who even brought him into my eyes. And when I looked at him, I loved what I saw. I didn't like it. I absolutely loved it. I was looking at the big picture, and I could see this young man 3 or 4 years down the line being a really, really good player. So I'm hoping we can get Clingan. Sarr would be a good move, but I would prefer Clingan 10 out of 10. And I'm hoping that we could get the young fella Saloon. That would be a great year for the Spurs, for me, a great draft choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll probably have a lot of kickback because everybody wants him to draft a guard. And I think he can maybe go out and get another guard. If you want to get a veteran guard, let me put it this way, because, after reading everything and looking at everything, Derek, it's almost like, because you have such a young team, I would not draft, in my opinion. I mean, I think Spurs, they're going to go Castle, Saloon. If Clingan's there, they got to consider Clingan. But if he's gone, I do like a Castle and Saloon. But if I'm looking at the bigger picture, am I right to think that I don't really want to trust an already young group to a young point guard? I'd rather get a veteran guard in here to be a leader, maybe draft a point guard later on in the draft, maybe second round. Because, we have, I believe, Juan Nunez is out there as well that, people are looking at, teams are looking at. But bringing in a veteran point guard, and we mentioned Tyus Jones go along with Trey Jones, that would, to me, feel a lot better than just giving the keys to the car, because you're not going to have lightning strike twice multiple times like we did with Tony Parker.
I like Castle, but I tell you what, man, for me, if you're talking about bringing in a veteran right now, it's a guy that's been here already, and that's proven. That's DeJounte Murray. And bringing him in right away improves the defense. If you need him to score, he's proven that he's a capable scorer. I just think him and Trae Young were it just didn't work. And sometimes the grass might be greener on the other side. They say sometimes it's not, but that means sometimes it is. And I think for DeJounte would be a perfect fit here. And he could also tutor some of these young guys. And then you've already taken care of your veteran, basically, in the backcourt. And this Stephen Castle, I like him, or Stephon Castle, but if it's between him and DeJounte Murray, I'm bringing in Murray, and I'm bringing in Clingan, and I'm bringing in Risarchier. And then for me, Rudy, we got a potential playoff team right off the bat.
Man, a playoff team, not even just to play in, just straight up playoff team.
No, they bring in those three guys. You bring in a DeJounte Murray, and you bring in Clingan, because I think Clingan is more mature than his age, Rudy. Playing for Danny Hurley, I think he's NBA ready. Some of these guys are going to take a while, a couple years, 2-3 years. They usually take guys to get their feet wet. I think Klingon coming to the Spurs, these guys here, they do their due diligence. And players here, man, if you remember, even the Thiago splitters, we thought he would struggle. You saw Thiago get better, like by leaps and bounds, and it didn't take a long time.
Yeah.
So some people might think he wasn't that great because he wasn't filling up the stat sheet. But there's more to the game than just filling up the stat sheet. It's what you bring overall to make your team better. And I think that's where Klingon comes in. I think he's NBA ready right now.
Who else makes the team better is Coach Gio joining us now. Our third member of the trifecta here for Sweep the League's pre-draft show. Gio, and he's sporting the Spurs jersey. Let's not be biased now, Gio. I mean, we're supposed to be covering the entire draft, not just picks 4 and 8. I mean,
hey, this is a Spurs. Hey, this is a Tim Duncan Adidas jersey. So
okay, I was sporting the Alberto Adidas jersey last night, so you're a little late on that.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm in the building. It's a pleasure to be with all you guys here tonight and get ready to talk some basketball. Though I am itching for football season, Rudy, but I still love my basketball.
Well, we've covered the NBA or the NFL draft a lot, and that's a long process. And I was just going to say this. It's a long process. I hope Derek realizes what he's gotten himself into, because it's a long, long night, man, Gio and I know that for a fact.
Thanks for joining. Yeah, this is going to be a long night. If you got to hop off, no worries. Go get yourself some water or your drink of choice.
We normally go through a lot of commercials to give everybody a little break here and there. So Ben Bornstein is going to round up the round table for us here. So he'll be on with the actual NBA draft here that starts at 7:00 Central Standard Time. We're going to hop off about 6:45, get ready for the NBA draft. Give us a few minutes there to catch our breath and get our thoughts together, because, again, it is a very long night here at the NBA draft. Sweep the League NBA draft coverage. This is the pre-draft show brought to you by MCS General Contracting and La Cocina Taco Truck. When we get back, we're going to get into some prospect talks. We're going to go down the list, maybe give you guys an idea who we feel is going to go from 1 to, say, about 14. We'll try to go 1 through 14 here, try to get a feel for how the first part of the draft, the lottery, is going to go. This is Rudy Campos, Derek Irvin, Coach Gio. We will be right back, guys, here on Sweep the League pre-draft show. Living in South Texas, we all love to eat, especially tacos. Oh boy, La Cocina Taco Truck should be your only stop every time. They are just a short drive away, located at 283 West San Antonio Street in New Braunfels, Texas. There is no order too big or small for the staff to handle. Whether it's the ever so popular street tacos all the way to the amazing quesadillas, La Cocina will satisfy your appetite, guaranteed. Head over to see them at 283 West San Antonio Street in New Braunfels, Texas. Make that short drive so you can be satisfied at La Cocina Taco Truck. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. A family is just like your home. It starts with a great foundation. MCS General Contracting can make sure your foundation is off to a perfect start. Whether you're wanting to build a pool, expand a patio, or build a driveway, MCS General Contracting should be your only call. They provide top-notch customer service and will stand by their work 100% of the time. Why trust the rest when you can just call the best? Build the best foundation now for your home and your family, because a good foundation is the perfect start to a happy life. Contact MCS General Contracting today at 210-774-9155. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Welcome back to Sweep the League's NBA draft coverage. This is the pre-draft show. We're going to get back to you guys live at 7 o'clock for the actual NBA draft. It's going to be a long night. We know you're probably at home on the couch. You're getting ready to have dinner with your family. You're enjoying it on TV, or you are at a bar. I know Alamo City Sportscast is having a draft party at a bar. Wherever you're at, be sure to tune into us if you want that wall-to-wall coverage as well, as we're going to provide it to you. Ben Bornstein will be back with us in the NBA draft show. Then later on in the evening, whoever's still awake, we're going to have a post-draft show, kind of get you ready for next year's draft a little bit, and also just kind of recap what happened tonight. So back with Derek Gervin and Coach Gio. Guys, so obviously from what I've been saying, and Gio, I think you came in at the very end of it. Right now I see, the Hawks probably going Reese Archier at 1. That's kind of what the rumor had been lately. So we're just kind of going by what the rumors are actually being told right now. And then I have the Washington Wizards going with Sarr at 2. Now, Washington did end up trading Denny Avdija to Portland, and they got Malcolm Brogdon at the 14th pick back. So to me, that's going to pretty much just guarantee and solidify they're going to go with probably Alex Sarr there, kind of similar player like to Denny. So number 3, I had Donovan Clingan going to the Rockets, leaving me at 4. So what would you guys do? We're going to start first with Gio, then we'll go to Derek. Give me 1, 2, 3 for you guys. If the Hawks, the Wizards, and the Rockets stay, what do you guys see at 1, 2, and 3?
Well, just looking at this, I'm definitely going Rasheer number 1, Rudy. I think it just probably makes the most sense, though the Hawks could surprise, right? We don't know what the Hawks are thinking. Murray's been in trade discussions, right? Trae Young. There's a lot of different things. Clint Capella could be shipped today. We don't know. So I'm going to go that number 1. Number 2, Sarr. It makes the most sense. And then number 3, I wouldn't mind Reed Shaheed going to the Rockets. I know it might sound a little bit far-fetched, but I like that combination there.
He's been talked about going to Houston. That's kind of crazy lately. He's been talked about going to Houston. Reed Sheppard out of Kentucky. Derek, for 1, 2, or 3, which way do you see that going?
Well, it sounds like Risa Share is hey, he's friend. Hey, you don't get mad at me. Risa Share, I'll say. I think he goes number 1. It seemed like the last week there was questions. Alex Sarr had been mentioned, and we know that for the last couple of months, Sarr was the guy they were talking about first. But lately, I've been hearing a lot about Risa Share, so I'm going to say that for some reason he's drawn the eye of Quinn Snyder, and I think that'll be the first pick. And then I think Alex Sarr makes a lot of sense being the second pick. Now, the third pick, man, I don't know. Is that Castle? Is that Reed Sheppard? I would say Reed Sheppard. I'm going to agree with Gio because I think Houston needs shooting, outside shooting. And I think this young man, we know his little pedigree from Kentucky, and I think that Houston is willing to take a chance on him. I think they can bring him along slowly. And what I mean by slowly is as the season progresses. I don't mean 2 or 3 years from now. I think he's the type of guy that's been in the system that he'll learn quickly. And as the season progresses, I could see the Houston Rockets putting him into the lineup. So I agree with the 3. I say Risa Shea first, Sarr second, and then I think Reed Sheppard would be the third pick.
So, and that's what I was kind of mentioning, was Reed Sheppard has been getting a lot of love and getting a lot of notice when it comes to Houston at number 3. I've seen a lot of people talking about Reed Sheppard going, at number 3 to the Houston Rockets. This is going to be provided all night, guys. This is your player profiles. They're going to be provided by The Ringer. The image and profiles are courtesy of The Ringer. So head over to theringer.com for any NBA draft coverage outside of us. But, with Reed Sheppard, it's kind of what you and I, Derek, talked about one time. And I don't think we talked about it on the air. What scares me about Reed is if you really dive into the video, it's his jump shot. He's a very good shooter, but he's got that little bit of a hitch in the jump shot that can really affect him in the NBA. Can you give some insight on that Reed Sheppard kind of hitch that we saw in his jump shot when you and I were reviewing video?
It's almost like he shoots in 2 motions. They teach you to go straight up after you come out of your crouch. You get your legs underneath you, and you go straight up into your shot. Sometimes it seems like he shoots 2 different motions. But what I believe is that he'll have a really good shooting coach. They'll work on his technique. And I think your technique can be fixed. And the reason I say that, if you remember, Rudy, when Michael Jordan first came into the league, his shot was different than it ended up being. And I hope people pay attention to that. If they don't believe me, all they got to do is go look up the film. When Mike first came in, he shot more to the side. As they continued to work with him, his shot the form became more, better form. And I think that's something they'll also work on with Reed Sheppard. He has proven that he can shoot the ball. So if he can shoot the ball with his technique, which I think is not a great technique, just think about after they get some time to work with him. And I think he's going to end up being a really good knockdown shooter.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really good shooter in the league. And you know what, Derek? The people don't have to really go back to Michael Jordan. Just go back to the national title game against Georgetown. When he makes that game-winning bucket, you clearly see he's coming up, and it's off to the side. And he's, letting it go over there. You saw his jump shot from college to the NBA. It was a transition, and it did improve a whole lot. But, yeah, Mike's jump shot from the college level to the NBA level did change. And that's something where I feel maybe Reed Sheppard is going to be able to improve on as well. It's just like you and I said, he's got that little hitch and the jumper right there. So you, Gio, have Reed Sheppard 3. So that goes to 4, 5, and 6. You have, obviously, the Spurs at 4. You have the Pistons at 5, and then the Hornets, who right now there was some rumors coming out for the Charlotte Hornets. Let me give this to you guys. The Hornets are actually targeting right now at 6. They're targeting one Tijan Saloon. So let's kind of keep that in mind here. Not saying that's who you would take for the Charlotte Hornets, but right now at the number 6 pick, they are targeting Tijan Saloon, a guy that we have been mentioning quite a bit on Sweep the League, and actually a guy that I was mentioning on Locked On Spurs a very long time to keep your eye on. So definitely to keep your eye on. But Derek, if you're going at 4, 5, and 6, the next 3 picks, who do you have the Spurs taking? Who do you have the Pistons taking? And then who would you see Charlotte possibly taking right there?
Well, for number 4, it would be Klingon. We discussed that before Gio came on the air. For the Spurs, I think he's the perfect pick. The only other guy I would want the Spurs to even look at would be Dalton Knecht. So we're going to go on and push Dalton to the side for a minute. Klingon without a doubt. And for number 5, my Detroit Pistons, Dalton Knecht.
You and I think alike, man.
Dalton Knecht, Detroit Pistons would be my pick. And then for number 6, I don't know. What is their biggest weakness? Is it power forward? What do you think is their biggest weakness?
They got a lot of weaknesses, Derek.
Yeah, all the way.
Well, you can only address one at a time, but I'm saying I know if they really want to they're going to go power forwards. Saloon would be the guy.
Yeah.
Because I think he can play the 3 or the 4, and occasionally some 5 as he gets stronger. So those would be my picks. Number 4 would definitely be Klingon, 10 out of 10. Number 5 for my hometown Detroit Pistons, no doubt about it, is Knecht. But I think if you put him and Cade Cunningham together, they're going to be doing some connecting.
Oh, definitely. And then,
I think that would be a great move for Little Caesars Arena. And then for number 6, I would take Saloon, but I hope they pass up Saloon so that we can get him possibly down in San Antonio, Texas. But we'll get on that a little later.
Yeah, wouldn't Matas Buzelis be a good one for Charlotte? I mean, it's a running mate for LaMelo Ball. He's got some size. He's a playmaker. I kind of like Matas Buzelis at number 6, but Charlotte obviously sees what a lot of people in the NBA see now when it comes to Tijan Saloon. If they end up getting Saloon at 6, I mean, I've kind of said it before, man. Saloon reminds me a lot of a raw Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I'm not saying he's going to be Giannis, but he's got a lot of Giannis in him. Length, quickness, gets up and down the court. He actually shoots the ball better, in my opinion, than Giannis does. But that's kind of, I guess where the ceiling lands. 7, 8, and 9, Gio. I'm going to give you.
Rudy, wait, hold on. I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
You were talking. Who did you say you see for Charlotte?
I kind of like Matas Buzelis at number 6.
Okay, here's my question. Has Miles Bridges been moved?
He has not, but I anticipate he
So
will be.
that's the reason. But until he's moved, then I could understand Buzelis. But before then, I would have to say that they would have to look in another direction because they already have Miles Bridges at that position.
That is true. I kind of anticipate that Miles Bridges would probably be already on the go. That's what I feel. I think he's going to probably be on his way out of Charlotte. But that's a great point. I think that's when I had Buzelis going at 6. That's kind of why I had him there, just anticipation of Miles Bridges being gone from Charlotte. What do you got, Gio?
Well, I mean, look, for the Spurs, this is going to be interesting because I think Saloon, I think the Blazers could also use him as well, Rudy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has a little bit of everything. His wingspan is ridiculous. I don't know how this is going to shape, but if Saloon's there, I expect Portland to take him. 8, look, we probably agree Dalton's probably not going to be there. But, Rudy, if he's sitting there, I think the Spurs should definitely pull the plug. So, depending on how this goes, how my mock is going, Saloon goes to Portland and Connect goes at number 8 to the Spurs. I get a feeling something's going to happen where that doesn't happen, but 7, 8, and then number 9 for the Grizzlies, I got Rob going there. I think it just makes a whole lot of sense for a team that, look, they're bringing back a lot of guys from last season, and a team that just a few years ago in the Western Conference Finals, I believe, right, Rudy, were the Grizzlies. So you have a chance to get back there. I think Rob, look, I don't know why I really like him a lot, but it's possible because he was in a lot of my bet picks last season in college basketball, but I think it just makes a whole lot of sense there. Number 9 getting Rob for the Grizzlies.
Hey, Gio, can I ask him, Rudy? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You're talking about taking Rob. You're talking Rob Dillingham, right?
Yeah.
What about Ja Morant? How do you think Ja would take that move?
I don't think it really matters at this point because this is a team that we don't even know if John's going to be there because he might go do something else, Derek. he could do something in the offseason, and we're sitting there like, well, here we go. So they need another kind of slash it to the basket. Look, he's a rookie. He did shoot 44% in the three-point line. That's really good. That could translate in the NBA, but I don't know if you can trust him. You don't know. Something happens. Hey, you got some sort of, I wouldn't say an insurance policy, but I think adding another guard to that mix would definitely help.
So this is the other part, too, because you're talking about a Memphis team sitting there. I mean, look at the guys that they have as their potential starting 5 right now. And remember, a lot of these guys were out last year. Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane. Those 3 guys, they are formidable backcourt. You have right now Jaren Jackson Jr., who's a constant Defensive Player of the Year candidate. They could use a power forward. I think Vince Williams, Aldama is there right now, Brandon Clark as well. They could use a power forward. So if they're worried somewhere about, a Ja Morant incident or anything, wouldn't a guy like a Devin Carter, maybe from Providence, be a good mix for them? They have Derrick Rose as a backcourt right there, but I think a Devin Carter, in case something happens again with Ja, is that too soon to maybe get Devin Carter at 9? I mean, he was predicted to go to the Spurs at 8 sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they need to go guard. Go guard heavy. I mean, the wingspan, obviously Devin's another guard as well, but I would prefer more of the Rob sense. I know that team kind of flamed out in the tournament, but for Rob sense, Carter has the ability. He's a hustler. He can get to the rim. I just don't know what that team is going to look like because all those injuries happen. What Memphis team are we going to see? I don't know yet.
Don't they need a center?
They really do, but you're really not taking Edey right there. I mean, that's a little too high.
But they do need a center because if you look at it, there's no more Steven Adams, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is better as a 4. Yeah. A guy that can roam around in that paint. He's not a guy that's going to be locking down Embiid and Jokic and these guys. He's more of a 4, like Anthony Davis wants to play in L.A. They need to put a center next to him. They got some guys in their backcourt, and with Desmond Bane, Smart, and Ja, I'm gonna think positive about Ja. I'm hoping he's learned his lesson. But they got to have somebody that can rebound that basketball and that can cover that rim. That hurt them a lot during the season. And I love Jaren Jackson Jr. I played with his dad, but I think their biggest issue right now is a big man who can rebound the basketball and be a rim protector.
Makes sense, but you know what? Let me throw this out there. This is the Sweep the League pre-draft coverage. We're coming to you for the NBA draft at 7:00 tonight live for the first round. Let me throw this question out there. Let me actually throw it to Derek, and then we'll get Gio's take on this. But could the Memphis pick where we actually be the first time we actually maybe see an actual trade happen? Memphis trading out, because you remember you can possibly go and get a Valanciunas from Memphis. I mean, if they really want to move it and move up in the draft with New Orleans, you got New Orleans looking to get rid of some of their guys. You've even got Cleveland talking about Jared Allen maybe being available. So could Memphis actually use their pick in the first round to get out of that selection, maybe move down? Because then if you move down, you have guys like Khalil Ware out of Indiana, Yves Missy out of Baylor, Adam Bona is another one out of UCLA. These are big guys that can help Memphis, like you were talking about, maybe move Jaren Jackson over to the 4. But could this be where we may see that first trade happen in the draft, knowing that Memphis needs a big guy? And they want a veteran, I'm sure.
If I was in that situation, I'm making some trades, and I like you bringing up Valanciunas, but a guy, I think they need a guy that could help them by the name of Vucevic from Chicago Bulls.
Yeah,
so if you can go after somebody I think he fits their style of play better. But yeah, I could see them making a trade, Rudy. I think that's very astute of you, sir. Yeah, I agree with that. That's very possible.
Well, Vucevic or even Jared Allen. I mean, if they can get a Jared Allen in the post there, a guy who's a high rebound and a guy who can also score to a certain extent. But I agree with Derek. Vucevic is probably fits more what they're trying to do in Memphis, opposed to like that traditional kind of center in the post.
You know, one thing to keep in mind, guys, is the effects of Mikal Bridges being a Knick now, and then the Knicks coming out saying that they have agreed to sign OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $221 million deal. That doesn't leave very much room for Hardenstein. So it looks like Hardenstein might not be a Knick very much longer, which means could we see him in Memphis playing alongside Jaren Jackson? I think that makes Memphis a hell of a squad. And then they can go out and maybe draft a Cody Williams at number 9 at their pick. Because then, like you said, you need playmakers, you need guards. Cody Williams is a little bit of a project, but if you've already got that team assembled in Memphis, that's a guy you can wait for, I think.
If they could pull it off, sure. I want to make one note though, Rudy.
What's that?
To me, the Knicks, I would have preferred if they would have got another star.
They're not done. They're not done.
And they're probably not done, but I would have loved to see. My thing is, though, I saw someone say, oh, they should go after Kevin Durant. I said, nah, I don't think Kevin's going to work well with Thibodeau there in New York and kind of like that mindset. But I think they need another star. I think Mikal's great. You pair him up with OG, I think that's going to work. But, man, another star in New York would really, I think, turn the tides. Because right now Boston is number 1, and it's just everybody else.
I'm actually, if I'm the Knicks, let me throw this out there because I know we're up against the clock here, but let me throw this out there. If I'm the Knicks, I'm offering Julius Randle, I'm off Mitchell Robinson, and Alec Burks. Those 3 guys, and I'm making a phone call to Minnesota and seeing if that would get me Karl Anthony Towns. Those 3 guys right there for Karl Anthony Towns, the money works, plus you're still going to come out on top because I think Karl is like 41. Those 3 guys add up to close to like 50, I think. So, and it does work for both teams come cap space. So not only is Minnesota getting Julius Randle, who's an inside scorer, he can work with Anthony Edwards, he can work with Mike Conley. He doesn't have to be great on defense because he has Rudy Gobert, but you also get Mitchell Robinson as well, who, you know, isn't necessarily a star, but he's going to be a definite guy off the bench. And then you get a player like Alec Burks, a veteran type of player for Minnesota. That's the call that I'm making if I'm the New York Knicks right now, because if you bring in a Towns, who I think is probably going to only be a 2-year rental right now, but I mean, that gives you a 2-year window to get it done. That puts them well over Boston. That lineup right there, Anunoby, Bridges, Brunson, Hart, Towns. I mean, you're probably, like I said, you're not going to probably sign Hartenstein. You're not going to have enough money. So you may as well get rid of, the traffic jam you have right there with that money and bring in, like you said, that next star. Derek, do you see something like that being a possibility for the Knicks?
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I don't think Towns puts them miles above the Celtics. Because if Towns was more of an inside player, then I would say yes.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that really wants to play a small forward. He has the mentality of a small forward, and that hurt Minnesota in the playoffs this year. He wants to shoot 3-pointers. And the Knicks need some guys someone that's going to grind under that basket, someone that they can trust to deal with Embiid and Giannis and these guys as the season progresses. And I don't know if Karl Anthony Towns is that guy, man. Sometimes I question his motor. I think he just wants to shoot the ball. And he's not, if you look at it, he's never been like a great rebounder. He's never been a great rim protector. He's more of just an offensive guy. And I think the Knicks are all about grit. So I think it'll be a good move, but I don't think that move would put them over the Celtics.
There you go, man. Good.
Quick question for Derek. Derek, do you think analytics have ruined, to a certain extent, the NBA game?
Yes. Sometimes it's not always about the numbers, man. And it's just like when you talk about all these stars, they talk about the analytics say this and the analytics say KD is going to do that. The teams that are winning today, we just saw it with the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum is not a superstar in my eyes. Jaylen Brown is not a superstar in my eyes. And then you put it's more of a role players today. I don't think, and you mentioned earlier, Gio, about, and Rudy said about the Knicks need another star. Are these teams that are putting these stars together, are they being really successful? No. You look at Phoenix, they bring KD and Devin Booker, and how did that turn out? And then this guy they bring in from Washington, Bradley Beal. I think we're getting away from the 2 or 3 stars, and you get one good star, and then you add a lot of pieces around them. The Knicks I think Julius Randle, people forget how great Julius Randle has been. He improved this past year from the previous years. He shared the ball more. He wasn't turning the ball over as much. And I don't think they need a Karl Anthony Towns. I just think they need to keep adding pieces, guys that are going to play hard. And that's what the Knicks, that's what they're all about. That's what Tom Thibodeau is about.
Yeah, the NBA is definitely, it's hard to cut you off, but the NBA is changing. I mean, these teams, Boston shot how many 3-point shots, right? I mean, it was just
40-something a game. They were shooting over 43s a game.
40-something
like Golden State.
Even if you have the stars, Rudy, that is not translating anymore to necessarily championships. You need guys who can shoot the ball. If the analytics is saying one thing, you got to shoot it. But the downside, obviously, is Karl Anthony Towns jacking up shots in that one playoff game where he had, or the last 3 games in that series, he missed so many 3-point shots. And you're wondering, well, shouldn't the analytics tell you, hey, you probably shouldn't shoot these anymore this series?
It does. And so if that's the case, then the Knicks need to make another call because they have players that they can move. I mean, I guess we might be in agreement before we go, because we got to go here in a minute, that a player like Jakob Poeltl would put them over. Perfect guy to make screens.
Or Valanciunas.
Valanciunas is another one. Vujicic might even be good there as well. They just need a big man there, and they can end up probably keeping Julius Randle for one of these guys. The key is they're not going to probably be able to re-sign Hartenstein. And that to me is massive. You've got to replace him if you want to continue to be successful. And if you want to be better than Boston, you've got to replace Hartenstein somehow if you're not going to re-sign him.
Hey, to be fair, I wasn't way off on the Milwaukee Bucks.
You were way off, man.
Listen, they lost in 6 games, right? I believe, Rudy. Look, if those 2 stars are healthy, 100%. But clearly that didn't happen. But anyway, I just wanted to put that in there.
You were drinking that good beer that Laverne and Shirley had on their show, man. That's what you were thinking.
Labatt's.
Yeah, it was Labatt's.
Look, that's comparing all the other series, that was the closest series Boston had was the Bucks. So
It was, but there was no way they were going to win that series. Come on, man. There's no way they were going to win it. But hey, man, this was the pre-draft show. As you can tell, I mean, I like to brag on these guys. They know their stuff. We talk about facts. We give you everything that we can. We're going to be with you for the first part, the entire first round of the NBA first draft coming up at 7 o'clock, roughly in under, 8 minutes. We're going to be with you back on the air. We're going to be with you for the entire first round. Ben Bornstein is going to be joining us from Project Spurs. He's going to be our draft guru. But again, just to remind everybody, we're not going to announce the pick until the pick is announced on TV. On the stream. So we understand we're going to have the first pick done. It's going to be probably already set in stone for 2 or 3 minutes, but when they announce it, we'll announce it. Then we'll go over on us. We're going based off of what the TV is doing. So just quick, we don't mind you dropping the comments. When you get to the comments and you drop in the name, hey, he was selected. Sar went here. Klingen went here. We're going to see them. We're there. We know that they're going to be there. We're not ignoring you guys at all. So just had to make that clear because we get that every single draft period. I told you guys that this guy was drafted about 5 minutes ago. Like, we understand. We see it, but we go by a certain way here, a certain uniform type of process here. So nonetheless, man, it's going to be a great night. The stars of tomorrow get drafted tonight. Who goes number 1? Is it going to be Reece Archier? Is it going to be Sar? Could Klingen still possibly sneak into 1? This is one of the more unpredictable drafts we have had here in some time for the NBA. But for right now, MCS General Contracting, La Casina Taco Truck, both sponsors of Sweep the League and both sponsoring our NBA draft coverage. So we'll be back with you guys at 7 o'clock. We're going to be logging off right now for our pre-draft show. We'll be back. Derek Irvin, Coach Gio, myself, along with Ben Bornstein. We'll be back here for the NBA draft here in probably, just under 6 minutes, Derek? That's what we're thinking. So, yeah.
Best show in the country, Rudy.
Definitely, I will agree to that. I would definitely agree to that. We'll be back, guys. Hey, be sure to come back on with us. No lie, 313 of you guys are putting up with us right now. Let's try to double that for the NBA draft. Let's get to 600. Subscribe to our YouTube page at Sweep the League TV. If you want to get a prize, you got to be a subscriber. So we're going to give away some prizes tonight. NBA draft coverage. We'll be back here in just a little bit, guys.